Katya, my arch nemesis, placed a paper crown on my head and shouted,
Make way for the four-eyed braces-wearing loser!
Students made a pathway in the hallway and snickered as I passed. Katya and I had known each other since elementary school, and we never got along. In middle school, I wore glasses and braces, which made me a target for kids like Katya. I hated school. That was until my best friend, Raquel, showed up and saved the day. Hi, my name is Aiko, and I'm from Peru. If you want to know what Raquel did, keep watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our amazing channel. One day during lunch period, Katya was up to her old tricks. She pushed me down to the ground in the courtyard and dangled an open can of soda over my brand new outfit. Suddenly, a girl stepped in front of me and grabbed the soda can from Katya and poured it all over her head.
Touch her again, and you'll have to deal with me.
The girl was taller than Katya, so instead of fighting back, Katya grumbled and walked away. The girl then turned to me.
Hi, I'm Raquel.
I'm Aiko, thank you. Life was great with Raquel, but our senior year in high school had major drama. One afternoon while at the skating rink, Raquel and I were putting on our skates and discussing the upcoming dance.
So, are you going to the dance on Saturday?
I'm not sure. I'm going to get my braces removed.
I forgot Saturday is the big day! Why not get a whole new makeover? You are a senior in high school. Time to shake things up a bit. Give them something to remember when you leave. Listen, I've got to go to the bathroom. I'll meet you out on the rink.
I nodded and went out to the rink. Maybe Raquel was right, and it was time for me to get a makeover. I was so focused on my thoughts that I didn't hear Katya speak up behind me.
Your big, bad bodyguard isn't here to protect you.
Katya pushed me and I went flying into the crowd. I crashed into someone who caught me before I hit the ground.
Are you okay?
I looked into the concerned eyes of my rescuer. He was super cute and he looked about my age. I'm so sorry, but yes, I'm fine, thank you.
Time to go!
A woman called out to him.
Bye.
He smiled at me and I waved goodbye.
Who is that cutie?
Raquel's voice came from behind me. No idea. As we skated around the rink, I couldn't help but think about my mystery rescuer. Even though we'd only just met, I had developed the biggest crush ever. On Saturday after my braces were removed, I took Raquel's advice and got a makeover. I exchanged my glasses for contacts and got new clothes to match the new me. Monday morning when I walked into the school's compound, everyone's eyes were on me. I felt fabulous until I walked down the steps towards my first class and saw Katya.
I'm your friendly reminder that without the braces and the glasses, you're still a loser.
Katya pushed me down the steps and I bumped into someone.
We've got to stop meeting this way.
When I looked up, it was him, the boy from the skating rink.
Hi, I'm new here. My name's Javier.
Hi, I'm Aiko. The school bell rang.
I have to go to the administrative office. I'll see you later.
I nodded. I didn't see Javier again until lunchtime.
Why don't you go over and talk to him?
What will I say? Just then, Katya walked over to Javier and said something to him, laughed, and sat next to him.
Oh, no, she didn't. Let's go.
Before I could resist, Raquel grabbed my arm and we marched over to Javier.
Excuse me.
Raquel said right before she hoisted Katya off the seat by her shoulders and tossed her aside like garbage. Raquel then sat me down next to Javier.
Have a good lunch, you two.
Katya screamed after Raquel.
I'll make you pay for this!
Raquel waved at Katya dismissively and went back to her seat. I was so nervous, I was sweating like a pig. Javier turned to me and smiled.
I was hoping we'd have classes together.
Me too, but I guess lunch is a great way to catch up as well. Javier and I chatted all through lunch. Before lunch was over, we exchanged numbers and made plans to go to the movies that weekend. When the bell rang to end lunch, Javier kissed me on the cheek.
I'll call you later.
I smiled and he turned and walked away. For the rest of the week, Javier and I spent all of our free time together. Finally, it was Saturday. Javier and I decided to meet at the movie theater. I was so excited that I arrived 20 minutes early. While waiting for Javier and looking at the movie billboard, a guy walked up to me.
What movie are you planning on watching tonight, babe?
I'm not sure. I'm waiting for a friend of mine.
Well, give me a call if your friend doesn't show.
The guy handed me a piece of paper, smiled, and walked away. I opened the paper. It listed his name, Emilio, and his number. I couldn't believe that a random guy just gave me his number. I decided to get snacks for the movie before Javier arrived. As I collected the snacks from the cashier, he slipped me a paper which also had his name and number on it. His name was Thomas. I was still looking at the paper when Javier's voice came from behind me. I quickly shoved the paper in my pocket and turned to face him.
Hi, I see you've got the snacks.
Yep, I hope I got things you liked.
I'm sure you did. Shall we?
Javier took my hand in his and we walked to the ticket counter. During the movie, my hand and Javier's hand went into the popcorn together and we just left it there throughout the movie. Wasn't that romantic? After the movie, Javier walked me home. Once at the front door, my heart pounded as Javier smiled at me. He leaned into me and I into him. I couldn't believe he was going to kiss me. Suddenly, my front door flew open and Javier and I pulled apart quickly.
Hi, Eiko! Is this the cute boy you've been talking about?
Mom! My face burned. I'll see you at school on Monday, Javier. Bye! I quickly squeezed past Mom and bolted to my room as though my clothes were on fire. Once in my room, I locked the door behind me. I couldn't believe Mom did that to me. The next day during lunch, I told Raquel what happened the night before.
That's a bummer. Your mom definitely knows how to ruin the mood.
It was so embarrassing. It would have been the end to the perfect night. Can you believe I got the numbers of 2 guys?
But you got rid of the numbers, right?
No, should I?
Eiko, you already have Javier!
As you said, this is the last year of high school. I should enjoy it.
Javier really likes you. Be honest if you want to date around.
I decided to keep the numbers, and over the next few weeks, I went on dates with Emilio, Thomas, and Javier, which I kept secret from Raquel. Things were going great until one evening when Javier and I were at dinner. I excused myself and went to the bathroom. As I walked back to our table, I noticed Javier talking to someone. It was Emilio.
Baby, I'm surprised to see you here tonight.
Emilio smiled at me as he stepped towards me.
Javier, I'd like you to meet my girlfriend.
I quickly moved out of the way. What are you doing?
Eiko, I don't understand. What's going on? I'd also like to know what's going on.
Javier, look, we went out a few times, but that was before the both of us started dating exclusively. I watched, defeated, as Javier and Emilio pulled out their phones and exchanged messages that I sent to each of them.
I guess Raquel was right about you. It's over.
What was Javier talking about? Did Raquel tell him something?
Yeah, what he said.
Javier dropped some cash on the table. I watched as he and Emilio walked out of the restaurant together. What in the world did Raquel tell Javier? I walked out of the restaurant sulking. I had a bone to pick with Raquel. The next day at school, I approached Raquel in the gym. What did you tell Javier? Raquel looked a little confused at first, but then understanding dawned on her face.
I see. Did last night not go as planned?
What did you tell Javier?
I told him you'll end up breaking his heart. Which, by the way, you did. He told me what happened at the restaurant.
You had no right to be talking to him about me.
Ever since you got that makeover, you think you can treat people like garbage.
You're just jealous that no one is attracted to you. Katya laughed behind me and I spun around.
Actually, there's one boy that's attracted to Raquel. Isn't that right, Raquel?
Katya showed me a video of her phone of Raquel and Javier kissing. I slapped Raquel across the face and screamed, "How dare you kiss Javier?" Raquel jumped on me and a fight broke out. There was hair pulling, scratches, and punches involved until a teacher pulled us apart and escorted us to the principal's office where we were given a week's detention. While in detention that afternoon, something amazing happened. I was being checked out by Salvador. Not only was he cute, but he was the leader of a gang. I slipped Salvador a note and asked him to meet me in the car park after detention. After a grueling hour and a half of detention, we were finally released. I walked out and waited for Salvador, who was leaning against his car.
Hey there, babe.
Salvador smiled.
Do you want to have some fun?
Yes! Salvador and I hopped into his car and we sped out of the schoolyard. About 20 minutes later, we pulled alongside 3 other cars. Salvador honked his horn and the other cars followed as he drove off. When Salvador finally pulled up in front of my house, it was around midnight. The next morning, I was awakened by someone knocking on my door. Come in. Mom walked into my room and sat on my bed.
Hey, sweetheart.
Hi, Mom.
I've noticed some changes since your makeover. Eiko, you know I love you, and I'm only saying this because I care. You've allowed your physical appearance to change who you are. I miss the old Eiko who didn't care how she looked but valued the people around her.
Mom kissed me on my forehead and walked out of my room. I was a little stunned, but then I realized Mom and Raquel were absolutely right. I needed to apologize to Raquel and Javier. But when I got to school, what I saw made my blood boil. Everywhere I turned, I saw Javier and Raquel either holding hands or sneaking kisses on each other. I thought that Raquel couldn't stoop any lower than stealing my boyfriend, but she did. Her ultimate betrayal happened at Thomas's 18th birthday party. I was having a great time until Raquel and Katya showed up. What are you guys doing here?
We're here to party!
Babe, I see you've met my cousin, Katya.
Cousin?
Yep.
Katya walked away and Raquel followed. I knew Katya was there to cause trouble, and that's exactly what she did.
Hey, guys, how about we play Spin the Bottle?
What are we, like 12?
No, silly. But who hasn't enjoyed a good game of Spin the Bottle?
You're not seriously thinking of playing, are you?
Why not? It'll be fun.
But you have a girlfriend.
Yes, and I want her to play. Come on, live a little.
Thomas sat in the circle to play the game, but I didn't. The game began, and it wasn't long into it that Thomas spun the bottle and it landed on Raquel. Raquel and Thomas stood up. I watched as Raquel pulled Thomas in for a kiss. Their lips met, and I stormed over to both of them and pulled Thomas away. Thomas, what are you doing?
Playing a game. Lighten up.
Why so upset? You've been kissing other people too.
Babe, what is she talking about?
You mean you don't know about Salvador, Emilio, and Javier?
Aiko?
Who are you to question me after you just stood there and kissed another girl in front of everyone?
You know what? It's time for you to leave.
I stormed out of Thomas's house and quickly dialed Salvador's number. Babe, I was invited to a party and the guy, I began to cry dramatically as I made up a lie about Thomas.
Babe, give me the address. The boys and I are on the way.
I gave Salvador Thomas's address. 10 minutes later, Salvador pulled up and rushed over to me.
Babe, are you okay?
I am now.
Wait in the car. I'll be right back.
Salvador and his crew entered Thomas's home. Faint screams and things being trashed were heard coming from the house. A few minutes later, Salvador and his crew exited and hopped into their cars. As he drove, Salvador turned to me.
I have a job to take care of before I get you home, okay?
I nodded. About 15 minutes later, we pulled up in front of Raquel's house. What are we doing here?
I got word today that a museum collector has some very valuable artifacts, so I'm here to collect.
I turned to Salvador to tell him Raquel's parents weren't museum collectors, but I had sudden flashbacks of Raquel kissing Javier and Thomas. Raquel deserved whatever came her way. Salvador and his crew hopped out of their cars and made their way inside. Suddenly, a loud explosion ran out from inside Raquel's house. I snuck out of the car and into the bushes. I watched as Salvador and his crew ran out of Raquel's house. They hopped into their cars and sped away. When the coast was clear, I ran down the street and snuck into my house. I quickly changed, hopped into bed, and pulled the covers over my head. It wasn't until the next morning I heard from my parents that Raquel's father was injured. On my way to school the next day, Raquel approached me.
I owe you an explanation. Katya was blackmailing me. She caught me stealing at the supermarket on video, and she said if I didn't do what she said, she'd hand over the video to the police. Since Dad lost his job, things have been tight around here, and now that
Tears ran down Raquel's face. I'm so sorry, Raquel. You should have told me.
It's just you've changed so much since your makeover.
I'm so sorry, Raquel, for everything. There was an awkward silence, and I turned to walk away, but Raquel's question stopped me in my tracks.
Did you send Salvador to my house last night?
I looked Raquel squarely on the eye. No, Raquel, I didn't. Raquel nodded and walked away. I bit my lip. Was lying the right thing to do? At school, Javier cornered me by my locker.
Hey, can you meet me at my house after school?
I nodded, too surprised to answer. Throughout the day, I wondered what Javier wanted to talk about. Did he want to get back together? Was he going to announce that he and Raquel were an official couple now? As soon as the last bell rang, I headed to Javier's house. I knocked on the door and waited anxiously for him to answer.
Hi, thanks for coming.
I followed him into the living room and froze. In the living room sat Emilio. What's going on here?
Well, Javier and I have been following you. We know what you did last night. Now you are going to do whatever we want. Unless, of course, you want to go to jail, like Salvador and his buddies.
OMG, what have I done?